Well, hello. Welcome to another Mansfield Today, brought to you by nag.co.za, and I've got another stranger next to me.
Yeah. Nice to finally be here.
Nice to meet you. This is Tristan, and he's wearing the Bravado shirt.
Yes.
And today we are talking. I don't like using the word esports too much because it frightens some people.
Yeah, definitely.
But esports, and you guys are involved in a whole bunch of things. But before we get into where Bravo is today, I just want to tell you a little something that, obviously my dark beard doesn't really show my age too much, right?
Yeah, of course.
So let me tell you something. The first time I heard or was exposed to the name Bravado was back in, I want to say 2001. Run about there.
Yeah.
I was part of.
We started 15 years ago, so it's also been a bit of a lapse in time for us too.
Yeah.
Hard to remember the details.
Bravado and a team called Damage Control were the two top teams in the country, and I hosted the Electronic Sports World Cup and the Samsung World Cyber Games. Those were the two licenses that South Africa had, and I was fortunate enough to be able to run esports tournaments, and back in the days when people thought that esports was super, well, we didn't even call it esports; it was just competitive gaming or just gaming. And
competitive gaming,
and trying to tell
early days,
yeah, exactly, and trying to tell people that gaming is a thing, and it was early days, and the two top teams was Bravado, which was then it was just called BVD. And Damage Control. Anyway, so that was many years ago, and I think you were still in primary school or not even born.
That was about the time that I was also kind of hearing about Bravado and what they were doing in South Africa. And for me as well, they were kind of one of those first teams who were kind of bringing gaming as a professional thing and something more than just this thing that you did on the sideline as a hobby.
And that's exactly the point, right? So you've got a long history in South Africa, a long history that started off with esports. I know it's gotten a lot more. You guys are involved in so many different things, and not just computer games. So expand on where Bravado is now.
So today definitely, as you said, Bravado has always been kind of that competitive organization. So I think our goal from when we first started was to represent South Africa on a world stage. As I'm sure you've known, South Africa has always been, doubted is the best way to say it. We haven't really had any professional gamers come out of South Africa and kind of make a career out of it. So something that we really wanted to push was proving that we have what it takes here from South Africa, So taking players to the US and making a success out of it. Some of the guys are still there from Project Destiny. They're still there playing for American organizations.
Don't just say Project Destiny, because you need to explain what it is.
Right. So,
I know what it is, but...
Yeah, so Project Destiny, I think that was kind of the peak for Bravado, because we were finally able to create this project where we were able to showcase exactly what our goal was, where it was taking an all South African team, sending them to the US and having them play on the biggest stages against some of the best teams in the world. And, they started unranked. Nobody knew who we were. We were a South African team from the bottom of the world. And they ended up placing, topping off at about 18th in the world, beating some of the best teams.
How many teams?
On the planet. I mean, it was a global ranking of about 18th was where they topped out. So they were beating some of them.
I mean, for viewers out there, just to explain the true depth of what Tristan is actually saying here, is that South Africa hasn't been able to compete on the global stage very often, specifically with regards to esports. It takes a lot of money to host a local tournament. And then from there to have that team or that individual go over and represent South Africa or play on the international stage representing the team. And, only now we're starting to see South Africans getting more and more recognized overseas. Definitely. And the fact that Bravado have been slogging away for so many years, I mean, one of the founders, Andreas Sentu, I would love to have seen today, but
very busy
happy
man.
To see you. Yes, no, of course.
Very busy man.
So, Andreas has been hard at work at growing the the brand, because it's no longer just a
Definitely.
Some esports team that started off
Exactly
as a
that.
CounterStrike team was the start.
Yeah.
CounterStrike is a first-person shooter game.
Yeah. Tactical team-based game.
Five-man team game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one day what we should do is we should let's arrange this. Let's set a date. Well, not a date. Let's put a plan in place.
Definitely.
Let's have a CounterStrike showcase.
Definitely, we can do something.
It doesn't have to be Counter-Strike per se, but let's show competitive play to the
what
audience.
it actually is, definitely.
Yeah.
And we have the facility now, our headquarters.
Yeah, we can
where
do it at your facility.
We can host it there, definitely.
And I know Jared is probably going bananas in the back there, because it'll mean a bit of external stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'll be awesome,
be
to showcase competitive
Definitely.
play. Get one of the other teams, maybe Goliath or one of the other teams in here. I do want to bring Goliath in here for an interview as well. So, but it'll be cool because they're a really cool team as well.
Of course, yeah, and we've done things like that with them before. We actually did a showcase called Alienware versus Predator.
Oh, right,
They're
yes.
Obviously with Predator.
Yes,
So
yes.
we had like a showcase, different CSGO
that's super
matches.
cool.
But we can definitely do something like that.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome. Yeah.
Okay, so I digress. I do apologize, but
No.
ultimately you are doing some great things overseas with your team, and
Yes.
I'm itching to ask you. There's something cool that's on the brew. Are you allowed to talk about that?
I think so. I've been given very, very specific instructions on how far I can go with it.
Yes.
Because it's obviously, for us, as you were asking me earlier, kind of where we're at now. I mean, being the competitive team that we have been for so many years and striving, and focusing so much on trying to be a premier organization for South Africans to be proud of.
Yeah.
As you were saying before, we haven't had a lot of opportunities. So we've really strived to bring that opportunity here, not just kind of building it for ourselves, but trying to better for South African gaming as a whole.
Okay.
And for many, many years, we've been working with our sponsors, Alienware, Dell, and Intel, for the past 10 years, and our relationships built from strength to strength.
Yeah.
And so for many years, we've been working with them in multiple other countries with activations. We've done expos in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Egypt. And so together with them, we finally are able to expand. So it's been something that we've really been trying to bring for Bravado so that we can continue to bring our culture and our ethos to the rest of the world. As I said to you before, that's something that we've really strived for in the entirety of our history. And now we're finally going to be able to expand into about 4 or 5 new countries. And it's been a lot of work and a lot of...
Okay. I'm not going to put you on too much more of a spot, but there's some news coming soon.
Yes.
Right? So it's kind of watch this space. All right. So
Yes,
you watch your
very
socials and whatnot. And hopefully you'll share that with NAG, so
Definitely.
we can share it with our readers as well and talk about it here as well.
Definitely.
Okay. That's cool. So you involved in grassroots in this country. Does it mean that you're going to help those countries that you're expanding into help with grassroots as well? Or is that something you can't talk about right now?
Look, I definitely think it is. I mean, at the end of the day, trying to be a premier organization and host home to champions and the best players in the region, that's always been a part of our culture too. But at the end of the day, I think in gaming and in esports as a whole, it does always start with grassroots.
Sure.
In order to grow as a whole, it has to start there. It has to start in the development. Teaching not only people who already know what gaming is, teaching the younger generation kind of how to go about it in the right way.
Yeah.
Teaching the parents what it's actually about.
The do's and don'ts.
The do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
That's it at the end of the day. Yeah.
In fact, you touch on a really good point, and it's something that I want to, in future episodes, talk about is protecting youngsters online. A lot of times people don't realize that their kids are being exposed to bullying and trash talk, and that's not the bulk of what gaming is all about.
Definitely not.
But even in cricket, in a real game,
Of course.
you got the wicketkeeper talking trash in
Of
your ear hole.
course.
So it is part of it. But because the audiences or the players are so much younger, we need to protect them. So it is something we're going to talk about, and I'm glad you touched on it. Bravado, tell us about all the things that you're involved in terms of what teams do you have? You got a CounterStrike team for sure. You
Sure.
got what else have you got?
So we've got quite a few teams, and what we've really tried to do over the last few years is targeting very specific games for very specific reasons, and different rosters for different reasons. So obviously, as you know, a huge part of what we do is trying to create stories and building champions. Trying to get behind players who, maybe just need a little bit more development, maybe a team behind them in order to reach new heights and new levels. But we dabble in a lot of different games. So we've got our Counter-Strike team, we've got FIFA, we've got Fortnite, we've got Tekken and Street Fighter, we've got Rocket League now. We had a Rainbow Six team. So it's, and you know what, this as well as I do, the gaming and esports specifically is always changing.
Yeah. Always evolves, yeah.
It's always changing. So it's something that we have to focus on. But as I said, lots of different teams and lots of different rosters for all sorts of different reasons. We also have our stream team. And I think that's an important one because, as we were talking about earlier, I think although Bravado in its history has been known as the competitive team and kind of those competitive players, but we stepped into streaming and kind of the content side of things because
that's the jobs of your kids' future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that also plays a huge role into kind of the stereotype of what a lot of people think gaming is, right? They think if you want to be a professional in gaming, you have to be a competitive player.
No.
And that's not it, I think with the introduction of the entertainment side of it, it's opened up a whole new world. And 100%. It's something that I think is incredibly important for gaming, even more so maybe than the competitive side, because I think the entertainment side and the streaming and the streamers, they target a whole broader audience than just the competitive side of things.
100%. I'm super happy that you guys are getting behind streamers. It's something that's close to my heart, has been for many years. We host a free to any streamer on NAG, on an ongoing basis. So streams and supporting streamers and content creators is crucial to the whole ecosystem that you and I play in. Definitely. So anybody that wants to get involved in streaming, they can contact either one of us, and we'll for sure help your kids. So if you're not sure, if you know that your kid is involved or your friend is involved in streaming, but maybe is not sure what the next steps are, please reach out to us, and you can reach us on our socials, obviously at NAG and Bravado. Can I ask you, do you think that Bravado would get into robotics and coding, seeing as though you're already touching on streaming? Because that's, it's next generation stuff. So 4IR forms part of that,
of course,
in my view. Is it something that you may do or you're already busy with?
Look, definitely not something we are ever going to count out. I think something that... again, that we've really been trying to build at Bravado is becoming more than just a team. Okay. We're really trying to become a brand, a lifestyle, and trying to be exactly kind of something that everybody can live with every day, exactly in the definition of Bravado, right? Sure. A staggering show of courage. So as a brand and as a lifestyle, it opens up doors for us to walk into all new kinds of avenues as this progresses and as we kind of develop ourselves as a brand. So it's definitely not in the works right now, but not a closed door.
It's great that it's not a closed door because education, for me, education and esports or education and gaming is one hand washing the other. It absolutely forms part of grassroots and whatnot.
Exactly.
Tristan, is there anything that you want to add from your side? Anything that you want to share with the viewers? Maybe some insights into how people, if someone is sitting at home and they've heard of the Bravado brand, they've maybe watched a stream, they maybe attended an event, not recently, but hopefully some events coming soon. How do they get in touch? How do they get involved in gaming? And how do they get the attention of Bravado?
So look, obviously I get asked that question quite a bit, and the best thing that I've found is your first step is always just getting involved, and it's such a broad thing to say, but I mean it in so many different forms. I mean, getting involved in the community around you, figuring out what game you love. It's get involved, go to events, be active on your social medias.
Watch streams.
I
think sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. But the key for me is that so many people will see it as, I want to be a competitive gamer. It is super tough.
It is.
Super tough. I've seen many hearts broken at events that I've hosted and whatnot, and covered. Not everybody can pick up a console or a mouse and
100%.
and be best
takes
at
a
it.
lot.
It does take a lot.
Exactly
A
like
lot
in
of
any
dedication.
sport.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of hard work and dedication. But supporting the streams supports the ecosystem that you all play in, right? So
100%.
I'm so happy that you spoke about getting involved, because that's ultimately where it is. But it doesn't mean you have to sit and play, but watch a stream. So when Bravado is busy in a tournament, or
Exactly,
it doesn't have to be just Bravado, but when you hear of a Fortnite tournament, watch that stream.
Anything of interest, yeah, anything of interest. I think a huge misconception that a lot of people think about gaming is, I'm doing my best for myself if I'm just playing my game all day, every day.
Yeah.
And it's not about that. It depends what you want from it.
Sure.
If you really are looking for a career inside gaming and esports, and you're not even sure what that looks like,
Yeah.
the best thing you can do is get involved and be kind of open to anything that can happen. You can go to events and you can meet people, or you can play a game and you can get taken down an entirely different route, and you learn that you love casting the games instead of actually playing them. And so getting involved is your first step, because from there, you're getting active. And at the end of the day, that's what we need in South Africa too, is I think there's a lot of gamers, and there's a lot of people who would be and are currently interested in gaming, but it's very separated and it's dispersed.
Yes.
And the best way to solve that problem...
Siloed.
Exactly. The best way to solve that problem is for everybody to be getting involved. If you're active on social medias, you're active in Twitch streams, whatever that is, as you said, it doesn't have to be of a specific streamer or a specific organization or a specific tournament or event.
Sure.
It's getting active wherever you find interest.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you came into studio.
I'm very honored. I'm very happy to be here. Anytime you want me back, you just let me know.
Well, so there's something I want to just leave you with a thought. Every guest that comes on the show provides us with something to give away.
Okay.
I'm joking. But I'd like Bravado to do something. I mean, I think there's a lot of guys out there that would love to have a Bravado shirt or a cap or something. Can we give something away?
So it's a good thing that you bring it up. Although I might not have it on me right now, we actually are in the process of manufacturing our entire new clothing line. So new player uniforms, Bravado hats, etc., etc., etc.
Cool.
So I can definitely organize something.
Is that a promise?
I can make it. I'll make it happen.
Okay.
I'll make it happen.
All right, cool. Okay, that brings us to the end of another Mansfield Today, brought to you by nag.co.za. Tristan, thank you very, very much. Please send my best to Andreas and the rest of the Bravado team.
Definitely. Next time I'll bring them with me. I'll make sure that they're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be great. All right, cool. Where can people get hold of you? Do you want people to get hold of you?
If you want to, yes, you guys can find me on, I think the best place to get a hold
to follow
of me.
Bravado.
Follow the Bravado Gaming on all social media platforms. If you are looking for me personally, the best place to get a hold of me would be on Twitter. So at Little Zozu, LILZOZU. I made it a while ago.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Have a great week. See you next time.